The most frustrating part about watching Drew McIntyre's trajectory under Triple H's creative regime isn't that he's being buried in the traditional sense where someone gets shoved down the card into irrelevance. What's happening is arguably worse because it creates this maddening illusion of opportunity while systematically denying him the payoff that every single narrative thread seems to be building toward. McIntyre keeps getting positioned as a legitimate top guy, gets placed in major storylines with world title implications, delivers consistently excellent work both in the ring and on the microphone, and then loses when it matters most through circumstances that make him look either unlucky or incapable of seizing the moment. That pattern has become so predictable that fans have started to expect his failures rather than anticipate his victories. McIntyre challenged Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship and lost, then joined the Judgment Day's team at Survivor Series War Games, where his team also lost and failed again to win the title from Rollins shortly after. This established an immediate pattern under the new creative direction where McIntyre was constantly positioned in high-profile situations but couldn't get over the finish line. The message being sent was clear, even if unintentional. This guy gets chances, but can't close the deal. Every single loss chips away at the credibility that previous victories built up, and when those losses pile up without a significant win to balance them out, perception shifts from "he's unlucky" to "maybe he's just not good enough." The Clash at the Castle situation in Wales remains one of the most egregious examples of creative mismanagement, where McIntyre was positioned to potentially win the title in front of a rabid crowd at WWE's first major stadium show in the United Kingdom in 3 decades, only for Solo Sikoa to debut by interfering and costing him the match against Roman Reigns. McIntyre himself admitted he was genuinely frustrated with this outcome, believing there could have been another way to protect Reigns while also elevating his own position. The aftermath made things worse when McIntyre and boxer Tyson Fury sang songs to the deflated crowd in what McIntyre later called the worst moment of his life. Imagine working your entire career to get a moment like that in your home country, having tens of thousands of people desperate to see you win, and then not only losing, but having to participate in what felt like damage control entertainment that did nothing for your character or the story. The Royal Rumble presented another opportunity that ended in typical fashion. During the match, McIntyre legitimately injured CM Punk's triceps with a botched Future Shock DDT, which inadvertently set up what would become one of the most compelling feuds of the year. But even in that scenario, McIntyre didn't win the Rumble. He was part of creating a major storyline, but wasn't rewarded with the victory that would have capitalized on the momentum and heat he generated. Instead, someone else got the Rumble win, while McIntyre got relegated to playing a supporting role in building toward other people's WrestleMania moments. Then came WrestleMania, which should have finally been McIntyre's redemption story. He defeated Seth Rollins to win the World Heavyweight Championship in front of a live crowd, finally achieving what he never got during his pandemic-era title reigns. But after taunting CM Punk at the announce table, Punk attacked him with his tricep brace, which created the opening for Damian Priest to cash in his money in the bank contract. McIntyre's championship reign lasted just over 5 minutes, making his entire WrestleMania moment a setup for someone else's coronation. Think about that for a second. The guy finally gets his big moment in front of fans after years of pandemic shows with empty arenas, and creative decides that the best use of that moment is to immediately take it away to service a different storyline. The booking was structured to make it look like McIntyre talked himself into losing by getting too cocky, which subtly reinforced the narrative that his own character flaws prevented his success. The CM Punk feud that followed consumed the better part of the year and provided some of the most emotionally charged storytelling WWE has produced in recent memory. Their rivalry included a Hell in a Cell match at Bad Blood that received widespread acclaim and a rare 5-star rating. McIntyre carried complex storylines with blistering promos and worked shoot social media posts, exemplifying a villain who thinks he's a hero and feels betrayed by the fans. His social media work during the feud earned him recognition as Social Star of the Year for 2 consecutive years. But here's the crucial detail that undermines all of that excellent work. McIntyre lost the feud, dropping matches to Punk at SummerSlam due to Seth Rollins' interference, then losing a strap match at Bash in Berlin and the Hell in a Cell match at Bad Blood. So once again, McIntyre delivered outstanding work that elevated everyone involved and created buzz for the company, but walked away from the program as the loser. The pattern continued exactly as it had before. McIntyre's hatred of Punk consumed him and cost him the World Heavyweight Championship on multiple occasions, which became a recurring theme that further cemented his image as someone who lets his emotions get the better of him at crucial moments. Since losing the championship, McIntyre unsuccessfully challenged for world titles against Bobby Lashley, Big E, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Damian Priest, and Cody Rhodes. He's now on a 5-match losing streak in world title matches. That's not a statistic that builds a top star. That's a statistic that creates a permanent mid-card ceiling, even if the person is working main event programs. Fans start to internalize that this person doesn't win the big ones, which makes it harder to buy into future title challenges because precedent suggests the outcome before the match even starts. At Clash at the Castle in Glasgow, McIntyre challenged Damian Priest for the World Heavyweight Championship in his home country of Scotland. CM Punk interfered and cost McIntyre his match for the World Heavyweight Championship, marking another tainted loss in his championship pursuit. So after everything that happened in Wales, Creative decided to run back almost the exact same finish in Scotland. McIntyre gets positioned for a huge emotional victory in the UK, the crowd is electric and desperate to see him win, and interference costs him the match. The lack of imagination in that booking decision is staggering, but what's worse is what it communicates to the audience. It says that Drew McIntyre is the guy who almost wins in his home country, but never actually does it. That perception becomes reality after it happens twice. The losses kept coming. At Saturday night's main event, McIntyre failed to win the undisputed WWE Championship from Cody Rhodes after the referee got knocked down, and Rhodes used the title belt to his advantage without the official seeing it. The stipulation stated Rhodes would lose the title if he was disqualified, so Cody was able to hit a DDT on the title and secure the victory. Another major opportunity, another loss, another reason why the finish happened that makes McIntyre look like he couldn't overcome adversity or outsmart his opponent. The specifics change, but the outcome remains constant, which is the entire problem with how he's been booked. What makes this situation so maddening is that McIntyre has every tool needed to be a sustained main event player and legitimate world champion. He has the look, the intensity, the promo ability, the in-ring capability, the connection with audiences that transcends heel and face dynamics, and he consistently delivers when given opportunities. He has won world championships 4 times and numerous other titles throughout his career, is a Royal Rumble winner, Money in the Bank winner, and Triple Crown champion. He won Feud of the Year against CM Punk and was named Most Improved Wrestler of the Year. The accolades exist, the talent is undeniable, but the booking since Triple H took over Creative has systematically prevented him from capitalizing on any momentum. Every time he builds something, it gets taken away before it can fully develop into sustained success. McIntyre's championship victories have been deeply unfortunate circumstances where his pandemic-era runs had no live crowds to witness them, and his most recent title win lasted only 5 minutes before a cash-in. That means in his entire main roster career, McIntyre has never had an extended, meaningful World Championship run in front of paying audiences. Every title reign has been either in empty performance center shows during lockdown or measured in single-digit minutes before someone else took the belt. For a performer of his caliber and tenure, that's not just bad luck. That's a creative decision to position him as almost but not quite championship material, despite everything suggesting he should be booked as the exact opposite. The frustration multiplies when you consider that wrestlers who have accomplished less, drawn less, and aren't as over with crowds have been given extended championship reigns and decisive victories in major programs. McIntyre works harder, delivers better matches, cuts more compelling promos, and generates more genuine emotional investment from audiences, yet he's the one who keeps losing when stakes are highest. Repeated losses under circumstances where he should have won can damage a wrestler's credibility, and that damage has been accumulating for years now without a significant course correction. Eventually, credibility erosion becomes permanent perception shift, and that's the real danger of this booking pattern. The booking suggests Creative sees McIntyre as extremely valuable, but not quite valuable enough to actually put on top and keep there. He's valuable enough to be in world title programs, valuable enough to work with top stars, valuable enough to be featured heavily on television, valuable enough to headline premium live events, but not valuable enough to actually win and hold championships for extended periods. That middle ground might seem like a safe position that keeps him relevant without overexposing him, but in practice it creates diminishing returns. Each loss makes the next opportunity feel less important because fans have learned not to expect him to actually win. The emotional investment decreases when outcomes become predictable, and right now, McIntyre losing big matches has become the most predictable thing about him. The most frustrating aspect is that fixing this would be simple. Book him to win major matches clean. Give him an extended championship reign. Let him be the person who overcomes adversity instead of being the person who succumbs to it. Allow him to emerge from a feud as the definitive victor without asterisks or interference finishes. That basic formula would gradually rebuild his credibility and position him as the main event star everything else about his presentation suggests he should be. But instead, creative keeps running the same play where Mcintyre gets opportunities, delivers excellent work, and loses anyway. That pattern has defined his time under Triple H's leadership, and unless something changes dramatically, it's likely to continue defining it going forward.